Hi, I'm Todd Danielson, Chief Utilities Executive of Avon Lake Regional Water, here to present the board recap from Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018, the first board meeting of the new year, and the first board meeting with two board members who have been just elected to the board. Now, one of them, Tim Rush, has previously served these past 4 years on the board. The second, Tony Abram, was on the board up until a number of years ago, and then he took a brief hiatus, and now he's back. So we have our full contingent of 5 board members, which include Tony Abram, Tim Rush, Dana Schnabel, Randy Phillips, and our chairman, John Dwansik. Thank you to the board members for their service. On Tuesday night, the 2nd of January, we first had a work session to discuss wastewater rates. I mentioned at our last board recap that we had a work session on December 19th to talk about that as well. What the board is interested in considering are potentially some alternatives to how we increase the rates. And I'm doing more investigation, and we'll bring that back to the next meeting on the 16th of January. Following that work session, we rolled into the regular meeting, and the main discussion point in that regular meeting related to the sewer laterals and what is required as of February 1st of 2018. At the board's December 19th meeting, board members specifically stated they do not want to just implement fines on February 1st. That doesn't provide a reasonable end. The board doesn't want money. What the board wants is compliance. So what I have done is I presented a draft path forward to the board at its January 2nd meeting, and the board would be most likely approving that at its January 16th meeting. And in essence, what that would entail is later due dates, whereby February 1st of 2018 is no longer the actual requirement. But what would happen is this later date, the customer would need to show that they were separated. And if the customer is not separated, the work would have to be complete by this next due date. If the work is not complete, multiple things would happen. The first is that if the customer wants to separate laterals, to have 2 separate laterals, the customer would no longer qualify for the $1,000 wastewater bill rebate that we are offering for those that willingly separate laterals. The second thing is fines could be levied. And the third thing is that the address would be included and the homeowner would be included in court proceedings or in court filing to, 1, grant us authority to do the inspection, and to 2, do the work that would be necessary to separate that person's home. Now, what the board really wants is to assure that clean water sources are removed from the sanitary lateral. Because clean water sources, whether it's a foundation drain, a downspout, a yard drain, a driveway drain, anything that's a clean water source that should not be in the sanitary lateral, those things can overload the sanitary sewer. And when they overload the sanitary sewer, 2 different things could happen. One would be overflows into Lake Erie, which is something that we could be fined by Ohio EPA. And if we're fined, that goes back into the rates that are paid by the customers. Or 2, there could be basement backups. And nobody wants a basement backup with some sort of combined sewage and rainwater. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to assure that clean water sources have been removed from the sanitary lateral. And there will be a later date that will be finalized at the board's meeting on January 16th, and we look forward to hearing that. But what we do stress is to please call Avon Lake Regional Water if you have not had an inspection yet. We need to get these inspections done, and then you know what the path forward is for your house. So those are the most important things from the board meeting from January 2nd, 2018. I look forward to speaking with you again in 2 weeks to hopefully tell you what the final path forward is regarding removal of clean water from sanitary laterals and the upcoming changes to wastewater rates. I'm Todd Danielson with Avon Lake Regional Water. and thank you for helping to protect our water.